I don't know about you, but movies about everyday heroes make me cry. If a movie were made about the life of Judy Wicks, I would certainly be crying. This woman is a testament to what one person can do, fueled by a social conscience and passion. As a conscientious cafe owner, Judy began seeing the interrelationship between everything she served in her restaurant and went to the ends of the earth to see the political ramifications of supporting certain commodity industries. She ultimately met with the Zapatistas in Mexico in an activist program she humorously called Eating with the Enemy.
Anyway, I began to see in my travels, I went to the Soviet Union, I went to Cuba, and I like to say, well, we ate with the Sandinistas and the Zapatistas and the Cubans and the Soviets and the Palestinians, and so our nickname for the program became Eating with the Enemy.
I love that.
And so our purpose in the beginning was to demonstrate that it's through dialogue and understanding that we achieve world peace, rather than through economic and military domination. But in my travels, I began to see that so much of what was happening around war was, in fact, about militaries protecting corporate interests. And that because publicly traded companies have to grow, that's their mandate, they have a constant need for new cheap resources, natural resources, new access to cheap labor, and new markets to expand their business. And they needed a military to protect that. I saw a quote one time from New York columnist Thomas Friedman that we can't have McDonald's without McDonnell Douglas, the defense contractor.
Yeah.
And so I started seeing the relationship between war and corporate interests, and began to see that it wasn't really a global struggle between communism and capitalism, but between a community and corporatism.
Very, very good and clear distinction.
Yeah.
Everybody should underline that one.
Right, exactly. So when the Zapatistas had their uprising on the day that NAFTA went into effect, January 1st, I think 1994, I was very interested in why this uprising, why on the day that NAFTA went into effect. And so I went down there bringing a delegation of my customers to learn about the roots of the unrest. And found that in order to comply with NAFTA, the Mexican government had to change their constitution. And in particular, a part of that constitution that guaranteed the indigenous people access to their communal lands, for farming. That was communally owned land for the indigenous people. And this was won by Zapata, one of the leaders in the Revolutionary War.
Mm-hmm.
But to comply with NAFTA, they had to do away with that part of the Constitution and open these indigenous lands to privatization and exploitation by foreign corporations. And then the Zapatistas predicted accurately that once the borders to Mexico were opened through NAFTA, that cheap corn subsidized by the U.S. government, grown by corporations in the U.S., would be dumped into Mexico, putting out of business the indigenous farmers. And that's exactly what happened. It caused a mass migration to the United States, as well as forcing Mexican farmers to take jobs on corporate plantations or in the maquiladoras, the factories, and so on.
For a full dose of this incredibly inspirational interview, go to consciousmedianetwork.com.